Approximately 1 in 3 adults in Oregon experiences mental illness. Quick disclaimer, this video contains real-life footage of homelessness, which may be triggering to some viewers. The goal of this video is to encourage people to prioritize their mental well-being, stay productive, stay healthy, and stay inspired.
Guarantee this is somebody associated with the far left came in and threw 4 of these in my driveway.
A lot of places went out of business.
This entire mall is just completely shut down and abandoned. No, this was totally an Apple.
Oh no, it's Ulta. It's a craft fair.
I have never seen anything like this.
I would put money on it because of the amount of theft.
Just my own job. I can do a good job.
How are you? You don't have to talk.
It's like, I only talk to myself. I don't talk to anybody else. And throughout the city, there's a lot of people who kind of behave the same way.
Yes.
Like,
You see a lot of mental illness on the street. And to me, the story isn't so much that this exists, is that it's allowed.
I mean, it's definitely become like a no-go zone. You can't walk around with kids or a dog and there's drugs on the floor.
To me, it was tragic. There was a tent, and they were inside the tent smoking. We talked for a while. He's like, I used to be a pro basketball player.
No.
And I'm like,
What?
he's like 5'10", 5'11". So, and I just thought, drugs, people are deluded. I don't know, but
He's just making it up.
he wasn't.
Really?
He wasn't. He was a phenomenally talented basketball player. Don't speak to them even if they talk to you unless they seem normal.
Mm-hmm.
And even I'm not trying to be like freak you out.
Mm-hmm.
Just there's a lot of, like you said, it's hard to know what's drugs and what's mental illness. You would never see things like this. So I moved here in 1990. So it was a little gritty back in 1990, but it was like on the upswing. And I left in 2015 and it was at its peak, but I'm a conservative. So I saw what the policies were going to do. I mean, I didn't know it would be this bad, but it was getting very expensive. And I thought a lot of the things that people were doing were inhumane. Yeah.
Not as far gone, but they kind of look like the protesters, just like a little bit.
Just a little bit better.
Yeah.
If you are not following Shelly or Honey Badger Mom on X, then I don't know what you are doing. You have to follow her because she has been covering Portland so incredibly well, and she was very, very nice and helpful to me during my time in Portland. So please give her a follow. And she also posted a picture of the man she was telling me about who used to be very successful in basketball and lost it all. When I heard this story, it reminded me of another clip that I had seen on X of a different person who was in the NBA, and people have spotted in places like Dallas, Texas, homeless now. Delonte West is here, looks in a very bad condition, and he is obviously around the worst group of friends possible.
What you doing out here?
Hi, Delonte.
See what I got. I got something for you today.
How are you feeling? You looking good?
Love you, bro.
Yeah, you're his idol.
The unfortunate truth is that 60% of NBA players lose their wealth within 5 years, and an astonishing 78% of NFL players lose their wealth after they are done with the NFL because they receive so much money so quickly and they think that it's going to last forever. So they buy the biggest mansion, they buy a bunch of liabilities, and they begin to party and do drugs, and they can lead themselves down a very bad path. It's also a fact that 70% of people who win the lottery lose their money and have to file for bankruptcy eventually. But don't worry, guys, not all of my statistics are so depressing, because something that's really exciting is that 80 to 88% of self-made millionaires make their wealth through business or entrepreneurship. And there's so much opportunity in our country. 57% of Gen Zers want to be social media influencers. And I know that that sounds kind of depressing, but I do believe that that is a good goal, because in many ways, that's how you build a business now. And so one advice that I've always loved is that you can work full-time on your job and part-time on your fortune until someday you're making more money on your part-time than you are on your full-time, that you can quit and then do that full-time. I do think that there is a lot of hope in our country still, even though there is a big mental health crisis. It is, however, important to understand the risks and recognize that our country has had tons and tons of drugs flowing into it through the last 4 years because of the Biden administration and the open borders.
This is something that the mayor of Portland put together right here. To me, this is a terrible travesty. It's like a zoo. It looks like a zoo enclosure, and it's for people to have a place to stop during the day. But there, you can see there's very little shelter. There's just tarps. So it's all gravel and wood chips. So anybody who's in a wheelchair, and there are many, this is not ADA accessible. The city says that it is, but it's not. You can't roll your wheelchair through that.
No, and it's
No.
like uphill even.
It's uphill.
Yeah.
Probably so that the rain will drain out of this lot. I don't understand why the city that has spent hundreds of millions of dollars on the homeless, it's not going to the homeless. Who's it going to? Because if they spent hundreds of millions of dollars, why don't they have a proper day shelter? So it's a place for them to go during the day if they want to be safe. I don't know how safe it is because it's not a high barrier day shelter. When I've done reports on this, if the city or anybody has ever come to them and offered them housing or treatment, most of them say no. We can ask about checking in. Okay.
They're all like everybody else.
Can you? Okay.
The Oasis Center, that everybody just come here and visit.
Okay. I love the background.
Israel.
Yeah, show us around.
Material?
Hello.
Hi, I'm Angela. Nice to meet you. Angela.
Let's go on this tour.
All right. I love that. Thank
Where
you.
y'all from?
I am from the Willamette Valley, and Angela is from out of state.
Yeah, I'm from Denver.
Denver?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm from Los Angeles.
We're checking out.
Sticky.
Portland is on fire. Portland, the war zone.
War torn.
Yes,
War torn.
Yes. So not. You know what I mean? So bathrooms,
Showers too.
showers also. Right here. I'm on outreach.
Okay.
This man right here is the outreach supervisor.
Okay.
Does laundry.
Oh, you can
wow.
wash your clothes? Oh,
Absolutely.
nice.
Clothes bin for donations.
Okay. What do people, if they're in a wheelchair, do you guys help them get in
We roll
here?
them in, or a friend of theirs rolls them in, or
This
they roll
looks-
themselves in.
This looks kind of difficult to access.
Absolutely. Take a shit over here.
Okay. They don't have to. Okay. And just places to, do they have food here?
Yes. There.
Okay. It's like, say they I want to get clean and I want to get housing. Is that something they can do here, or do they do that somewhere else?
Well, being an outreach worker, I can put them in touch with Portland services by dialing 311, not 211, 311.
Okay.
And it leads them to a city outreach worker. Now, city outreach worker will come and find them wherever they say they're going to be at. There's a process to it, and all these things take time. We can also direct them to other services, like the Alano Club, maybe get peer support, things of that nature.
Okay.
Urban Alchemy
So-
does a lot.
Is Urban Alchemy a county resource then, and not a city resource, or you your own resource?
It is a nonprofit,
Okay.
and it is it's not nationwide yet, but it seems like it's going that way.
Okay. All right. And this is just a day rest area. And then can you guys refer them to I'm assuming that there is night shelters around this area. Are they close by?
There's Salvation Army that we just
Oh,
got
that's just over there,
that we
isn't
just
it?
got to taken care of. There's Operation Night Watch that we also take care of. We canvass. We direct people here when they close the doors in the morning times. Get on the shuttle. We bring them here so they have safe rest. They can
Okay.
always go back to those places.
And some people just choose to go back out on the streets.
I have no idea what they choose to do. I
Okay.
cannot speak for that.
Okay. And then is it, so I hear there's low barrier and high barrier in shelters.
This is not a shelter.
So there's not a barrier, you just check in.
I can't speak for a shelter.
Okay. What about for here?
There's no drugs. There's no drugs or weapons allowed here.
Okay. And if
We should have checked you too. Do you guys have knives, drugs, or weapons?
nope.
She didn't say anything.
No.
Yeah, no, she doesn't.
I'm playing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry, I'm
she
kind of
is.
quiet.
So it's just honor system, which I mean makes sense.
No
It
one,
would be
no
it'd
one,
be
no
strange
one,
to
no one in here.
have
no,
to pat somebody
no
down.
one, no one in here comes in here and gets high. No one does that. It's not allowed. And no
and you
one,
haven't seen anything.
no one does it. No one does it. People don't seem like they want to do that shit.
You're saying that there's a leftist organization that does harm reduction, which is encouraging them to stay on drugs,
Yes.
and they don't want them to be off of drugs.
Well, they wouldn't, of course, say that.
Yeah.
But when you talk about forcing people through arrest and either time in jail or time in rehab, they think that's unethical. They think people should be allowed to use and get sober if and when they want to. They just want them to be safe while using. So they take up this whole spot. So this group, I believe they consider themselves a mutual aid group. I'd have to look that up. And by mutual aid, I mean they fund the group themselves. So I don't think it's a nonprofit, and they take up this whole space. And if you come and film them, they get very angry and aggressive.
When did they come out?
Thursday afternoons.
Man.
So I know it's definitely where. So they used to do this right in front of a school, which was adjacent to a school, and it was bringing in people right next to the school who were actually doing drugs, and it was also in a neighborhood, and there was a big fight over it. And I believe that the DA did get involved, and there were some people arrested for it because they were told they could not, they don't have any permission to do it. This is Multnomah County Health Building, I believe, and so the county has never said anything about them being down here. I actually have some footage of them. I'll see if I can find it this summer.
Yelling at you, stop recording.
They're yelling at my friend to stop recording because he was very open about it, and I was being a little more sneaky. So they're helping people by providing moving kits and all the rest to do drugs at Seminar Camp. And if they even remotely think that you might not be with them, they will try to drive you out of the area.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So
And throughout the city, there's a lot of people who kind of behave the same way.
yes,
Mhm.
you see a lot of mental illness on the street. In any place where they, I think, have a large population of homeless, we don't hospitalize people anymore. They have to volunteer themselves to be hospitalized. So
Oh, wow.
it's a lot of this on Portland streets.
If their family,
Sometimes their families are looking for them. Sometimes they're in completely different cities. So, and they don't know what happened to their family.
I mean, in my opinion, and I guess this would be extreme, I don't even know if I would post this, but they should put everyone in a mental hospital,
Yeah,
right? Isn't that what they used to do?
they did used to do that. And so I'm not as knowledgeable about this, but I'm going to give you kind of my version of it a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was Supreme Court ruling or if really it was just a change in policy, because they used to hospitalize people in mental hospitals for nefarious reasons. They weren't necessarily insane. And so there was like a pendulum swing to where we can't do that. So now they're not hospitalizing anybody. It's very difficult to get somebody 5150 to put into a mental hospital. They have to commit a crime.
Or 14 crimes.
Yes, or 14 crimes. And then a lot of times they have to ask their permission. It's just, I've seen so much mental illness on the streets, and I think it's so dangerous for those people. They are so vulnerable, and it's dangerous for people walking around if somebody's in the middle of a psychotic episode. They go this way. They hang out in this part of town because there is a lot of help for them here. There's the missions, there's places that serve food, there's shelters, and it's just kind of tolerated that they can live on the street. So you can see a tent right here.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times the tents have come from the city or the county or a nonprofit that is funded by our dollars. And it's a tiny bit better than it was. But let's go this way. People are allowed to camp on the streets, and somebody has to make a complaint about them, sometimes several times, before they actually come out and sweep the camps. They'll post a notification, like on a tree around. There's legal rules about that.
Yeah.
And then they'll give a certain amount of time, like 8 to 10 days, and then they'll come by and they'll bring a company that specializes in cleanup. And they'll pick up the tents and move them.
I did see a notice at the ICE facility that said that they gave them 30 days or something to grab their stuff.
Yeah, they do this every week, actually. So I shouldn't say every week. It could be anywhere from 5 to 15 days. And they'll come by and grab their stuff. And they'll tell them that they can pick it up in 4 hours at a warehouse in the city. So they can recover their things, but I don't know if people always do. I have actually seen a lot of personal items just left out on the streets, like somebody's got out of the hospital. There's photographs of their kids. There's a needle, a used needle. There's socks. There's some of their clothes, a shoe.
I think it's devastating that they give them resources to live outside instead of resources
to get inside, to be housed.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, some people do get housed, but they do not demand they get sober first. And I think this was in Seattle. There's a great group called We Heart Seattle.
Okay.
And they help people get off the streets. But they were interviewing this woman who slept on the streets, but actually had an apartment. And it was a disaster. You can imagine if you're in the throes of addiction and mental illness, it's very difficult to take care of an apartment.
Yeah, of course.
So we have a housing first policy, I believe, in the whole state. So you don't have to get sober to get into housing. And that's terrible for the landlords.
I know.
And terrible for the people. Like, they'll die that way. There are people that die on these streets every day in this squalor. What we saw is just 25% of what I've seen previously.
So what have they been doing that's been working that has cleaned it? Or
I think they just move people.
Oh.
I do think there may be a program where they offer people tickets home.
Oh, wow.
But I don't know for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where these people go. I do know that before Trump said it looked like a war zone, it was definitely worse, because I have driven around. I was staying down here.
Yeah.
And after he said that, I was like, wow, things look a little better. So I'm not saying for sure that they cleaned up, because
somebody else told me the same thing. It was a liberal too.
Yeah, I do think that they move people, they clean stuff up. I don't know where they went to, but we'll go check out a couple places.
Bridges, kind of.
Under bridges, like, see, they fenced off that entire area. They put rocks under the bridge, those huge boulders, and I'm sure we'll see them somewhere here.
Wow. To block it?
Yeah, so people can't put tents there. You'd be surprised at what small spaces people put their tents in.
In Denver, the homelessness is pretty bad too. It's began to spew out to smaller cities.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So the town, my hometown, which I live next to now, has a organization, Crossroads Communities, and they are actually helping people get housed. It's one of the best organizations I have ever seen working. They actually have levels of housing. Some people are not on drugs. They've just hit hard times. They connect them with services. They figure out if they have any mental health issues. They get that treated. They put them at a housing level that's appropriate for them. And they run it like a business, in that they watch their dollars very closely, so that every dollar spent has value to it, because these human beings have value. It's not just money to enrich these people.
Yeah.
And so they connect them with services. And if they are in addiction and they're willing to get treatment, they help them. And so the homeless population in my hometown is much lower than surrounding areas that have low barrier shelters where people can sleep. I personally think asking people to get sober is the best possible thing that you can do for them.
Yeah, of course, because you're not enabling it.
Yeah, enabling it just means they can die on the streets. Okay, so any area like this where they could pitch a tent. And of course, I want people to have shelter, but I would like for people to be sober and mentally well.
And it's also believing that they can.
Yes, it's like the harm reduction and the people just giving up on these people. It's so dehumanizing. It's like they don't believe in them. They don't want them to have better.
They're a really dehumanizing group. And
They are.
it relates the same mentality to like transgenders having high suicide rates, and they're like, oh well, it goes down when they transition, but it's like their suicide rates are already so high because people are encouraging them to transition, or you know.
From what I have read, and I cannot quote studies, so people would have to look it up, is that the suicide rate doesn't necessarily go down when they transition. And of course, so personally, I want people who are adults to be able to, I don't want anybody to do that, but if you're an adult and that's something you choose to do, I don't need to be involved in that, but I don't think the state should pay for it. And I don't think as a male, you should be in women's spaces. So
that's a very, very reasonable way of thinking, and I believe that a lot of conservatives agree with that. They're just like, don't mess with our children. You can want to be called whatever you want, but don't force us to call you whatever imaginary thing, because it's when you start to infringe on other people's rights that it becomes a problem. And it's similar with the homeless people when they're infringing on other people's rights to go on public transportation with urine, and the businesses. I feel bad for the businesses here that have the encampments in front of them and people don't want to go inside.
Oh yeah, I have actually seen people doing drugs on public transportation. And I think about the bus drivers, like what a terrifying job that can be. There's a great guy, I'm not going to name his handle because I don't want him to get any flack from me mentioning him, but he's a bus driver here and he tells stories and he has great stories. He has some scary stories too. So I think he's a big guy. I think he can probably handle himself, but I'm sure his wife worries about him. We're just about ready to, the Lloyd Center is over here.
She's explaining that this mall and area used to be packed
with people.
Lloyd Center.
Portland is beautiful from above.
You know, they're not as popular anymore, and that's why they're going out of business. But
I don't know, the malls by me, like, or I mean, I know plenty of malls that are always popping.
yeah, and it's not like that here. So Portland likes to say everything is fine here.
Yeah.
Look at that. They're flying that flag and they're falling apart.
Oh, that's a beautiful design. Yeah.
Right?
Like the most like unoptimal way to walk up the stairs. Aww. Oh, she used to practice here.
Yeah. Okay, this is busier than I've seen, but look. Like, closed.
And it is a Saturday too.
It's a Saturday.
Man, it's all empty.
We'll just walk down to the end here and then that.
It's so empty that they just made it like a market.
Like a flea market.
Yeah, that's weird. This is so weird. What the heck? What's going on? Nobody wants to pay rent?
Yeah.
Guys, this is absolutely insane. All of the store fronts are completely shut down. You can see so many of them are empty. And so people have began to put out these booths.
Last 5 years, you guys all the time.
I am here every week so far, yeah. Yeah, it's on Saturday.
A video. I was just curious, like, how do you rent out a spot here?
Oh, you can just talk to the event organizer. He's where is he? Do you know where he is?
I know that he is that direction. I do not know. Where he
Is it an event or do you guys always come out every weekend?
We do come out every weekend. It is an event. I don't know where it's advertised right now. I think it's advertised on like Facebook and Instagram, but it's the Twin Oaks show, I believe, is what it's called.
That's this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Because a lot of the like actual stores are closed. That's pretty crazy.
yeah, the mall itself is very close to being abandoned, but this is an event. I mean, I learned of this through word of mouth. Like I just had a friend who did this, and so I started doing it, and I love it. So yeah, it was something kind of funny that spurred up out of nowhere.
Wow, interesting. The mall is not completely abandoned yet. There's booths.
I just asked him, well, how all the stores in here? And he's like, yeah, I don't think people come here anymore.
I know that guy is like, it's close to being abandoned.
Yes. It looks like a ghost mall. You know, there's like a few stores here and there.
But I mean, even though this is happening, it's still kind of bizarre.
It's really strange.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even in a store area. It's just out in the walkway.
Because there's so much empty space. It looks like the second and third floor are just.
Let's go up to the second floor and walk back that way.
I'm surprised that the escalators.
When we were driving through the parking garage, I'm like, oh, who would bring their family here? Now I know it's for the Pokemon convention here.
So they're doing some type of Pokemon.
It looks like a Pokemon card game, a sale. There's a salon. So when people say Portland is not doing well, this is one of the things that I think of. There was
I mean,
so
like
much
big
that.
brands, you know.
Yeah, a lot of places went out of business, and closed down anchor stores. I do know that. But Marshall's is a business. They're not here. I would put money on it's because of the amount of theft. Fair.
I have never seen anything like this.
Isn't this crazy? There's more of the
Apple?
I think that was an Apple store.
What
but
is
it's
it?
empty.
It's
more the Pokemon.
Oh
craft.
no!
It's a craft fair.
I have never seen anything like this.
Isn't this crazy?
It's like usually you see this in outdoor malls, you know?
Yes. But it's so flea market, and this had to be an Apple store or something like it.
No, this was totally an Apple.
Oh no, it's
store.
Ulta.
What?
It was Ulta.
How do you know that?
Because right there it says shop 24/7.
Oh wow, good eye. Now it is the spot market.
So that's what.
Wow. Interesting. That was a massive Ulta.
Yeah. This was like the mall to go shopping at. Was their movie theater was across the street, and they have a movie theater in a court here. And I would take my kids to movies here, like all the time, and to the outside one. Yeah,
That's so sad.
So this is like it's like a place for kids to play, Funland play space.
This store is open.
But that used to be that would have been like not Hot Topic, but the other one
Spencer's?
is Spencer's maybe, and now it's
An arcade. And it's bizarre because these massive brands like Ulta,
Charlotte Russe, 21 Forever.
Forever 21,
Yeah, that one.
and
Clue, I don't shop there.
they've gone out of business in a very happening big major city. Is like, why?
I believe that it's because of property crimes, theft. I do know that's a huge problem in Portland. In fact, Portland was the #1 property crime. I don't know about retail theft, but property crime in the nation right now.
Oh
So that anchor store is gone.
my God.
I think that was the Myron.
And it's like the stores that are in business are ones I've never really heard of before.
They're like, it reminds me of the Asian malls in Southeast Portland. So there is a Barnes and Noble still open.
Wow. I like Barnes and Noble.
I do too. But the jeweler's gone.
I feel like it's bad when the jeweler is gone.
Store closing. This
80
location only.
80% off this location only. Ooh, caramel corn. That was cool though, the ice skating rink. Oh, it's right here. That's so cute. Look at how sad this is. It is a Saturday. And as you can see, this entire row, there's a store here, and the rest of the aisle is empty. I don't see one other store down there, do you?
I don't.
I'm gonna run over just to check really quick. So you guys can see this store is still in business. Down there, it is completely empty, and up top as well. And all down this path, this entire mall is just completely shut down and abandoned. This entire aisle here is empty. I've never seen a mall in a major city like this before. It goes on and on.
So I had 4 of these put in my driveway. Have you ever seen one of these?
I haven't.
They're called caltrops. I had never seen one in real life and didn't even remember hearing about them. And I found one in my truck tire. And my SUV tire had gone flat the day before, and I thought I just had maybe worn my tire out, but had actually ran over one of these. And there were 2 more of them in my driveway. And I live about 90 minutes south of Portland and in the country. And somebody, and I guarantee this is somebody associated with the far left, came in and threw 4 of these in my driveway and punctured my tires. So they're rebar welded together. And this was something that the Portland police found in 2020. They flattened their tires. They'd throw them out on the road, and the cops ran over them. So
That's terrifying. And like, how do you feel for your safety in your house? And
they had posted a picture of my house from my driveway on X. It's still up. I can show you.
Speaking about Delonte, apparently this post from Braindrops Media says that a couple accused of exploiting former NBA player Delonte West to go viral after letting him stay at their house. The woman denies the claim and says they're helping him out of pure kindness and nothing else. So maybe Delonte is on a good path.
Just chilling. We just got off the live. We got the homie, always looking fresh. And we just want to say that we love you guys. And we hope you have a blessed day.
I love you.
My husband or I benefit anyway, financially. We actually lose out financially by what we're doing.
Yeah, it does not look nice to have Delonte in their house in the current moment. You know, I'm sure it has created a mess in some ways.
We are coming out of our own pockets. I need this to be understood, that we are doing this out of the graciousness of our hearts and the kindness of our soul. And I hope that you guys can find peace and love within yourself.
Okay, but I do find it incredibly unlikely that they would have done that if it was just a random homeless person, right?
So, it's Chloe and it's Delonte. And we're here to tell you that this is my homie.
Yeah, we are in the house. We're not just any random place. We're in the house.
Yeah, he's actually at my
Random
house.
way.
And we're not exploiting him. He is...
Well, who would say something like that?
Like, why would somebody say that? Thank you, Delonte, for standing up for us, because people are being really cruel to me right now.
Love you, Delonte.
We love you always. All right, guys.
I mean, as Delonte looks happy with it, and if this is a progression and this is a few days later, he's already looking better.
As for whoever has concerns and wanted to know that he was okay, he's here and he's fine.
Yeah, I'm good.
And he was not found unconscious after he left our house. Okay, guys, so I had to stop the video because sometimes Delonte is not in the best mental state when he comes by, and he just wasn't today.
Okay, I don't know. See, the line between helping and then being involved is really confusing to me, because it's not like you want to begin hanging around Delonte and his friends, you know, and that could happen. And so, I don't know. It's a confusing time, but ultimately, if we're taking care of ourselves and we're doing the best that we can do, we're doing our part. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that going back to Portland, it does seem like the homelessness and the protests against ICE really do seem to clash, because they have encampments throughout the city, and a lot of times they seem like no-go zones, and they're places that people will get angry at you if you're walking down the street maybe. And obviously a lot of the homeless people are incredibly nice. However, the Portland ICE protester homeless people are a whole different level of anger. It is bizarre to me that their mayors and their city and their police don't take any action at all. In fact, the only action that they take is to leave them there. Just let them be. Let them put themselves in danger. Let them put their fires. Let them live on the street. Let them build encampments. Let them harass the people who live around. Let them make their music. Let them run naked down the street. It's just really weird. The truth is that Oregon as a state ranks 42 overall according to Mental Health America. It's like the other states that are lower than that are probably just empty. Approximately 1 in 3 adults in Oregon experiences mental illness. To me, when I was walking throughout the city of Portland, people look normal, but some of them act kind of bizarre, a little strange. And some of them were talking to themselves, maybe some type of schizophrenia. That kind of behavior is very normal. And it's sad because it is a gorgeous city. I have never seen such a beautiful fall. There was so many red trees. They have the most gorgeous lakes and houses as well. And so some people are doing incredibly well in Portland, but some others, man, they're really struggling. And I think that that shows up on the financial side of Portland as well. When you search up how is Portland's economy, it says that Portland's economy is currently struggling with its performance lagging behind peer regions and the national average, marked by poor job growth. I wonder why that could be when you have people who are not motivated to work in key sectors like construction and a decline in office demand. And that mall that we went to that is completely bankrupt, they filed for foreclosure. They are planning to use it for office space or some type of entertainment. But how are you going to put offices when there's no growth in the job market or no reason to have an office when people are just living outside in tents and wouldn't even want to go anywhere else? They just claim that as their home. In fact, I saw a video of a guy who actually built a house in front of a lake and he just claims it as his. That is such an invasion, and it is just wrong. There always seems to be a lot of discourse on how to solve homelessness. Ultimately, I believe that when a person is motivated enough to get off of the streets, then they will do it. When there is a will, there is a way. There is more than 700,000 homeless people in our country, which is increasing year by year by like 18%. So this is obviously a huge issue. And I do believe that it lies in just a lack of personal motivation. What you're seeing right now is the nicest, most PG side of homelessness in Portland. This next video is so important because this homeless man in Portland shares the reasons why he is stuck in this cycle of being homeless.
How many years you've been homeless in Portland?
5.
5 years. I'd like you to count how many times you've been approached by an outreach worker offered you the permanent solution.
Never.
You know why I knew you're going to answer that, or you're going to say 1 or 2 times. And that's the sad thing. Now, what you have been approached by 1,000 times is harm reduction workers, people giving you food, water, blankets, tents, but nothing to really break that cycle, brother.
Yeah.
It really does sound like the system in Portland and in a lot of major cities throughout the country is meant to encourage people down this path. And I do believe that there are certain institutions and organizations in place that encourage homelessness because it destabilizes the economy, the city, and they are trying to bring our country down. They're trying to raise the debt and bankrupt the country, which they have been doing successfully for a very long time. We're around $40 trillion in debt, and they are sucking money out of taxpayers and funding these drug addictions. This man is sitting on a sidewalk who is obviously on something that is not good for him, that could potentially take his life away. And that is what I believe the enemy within wants. They want more and more people living these unproductive lives where they are a burden and a safety hazard to everybody else. And it just creates a really toxic environment. Would you like to walk down the sidewalk and see this? Obviously, a scene like this is going to make people feel very sad. And a lot of times people want to offer their help. And so The ways that they think of doing this is to give them money, which could also be dangerous, or it's donating to organizations, which many times are just further encouraging them down the same exact path. They give them tents and resources to continue their drug addiction and continue this really unfortunate behavior. And I believe at this point, the most important thing that we can be doing is encouraging our youth and making sure that we are having a lot of very open conversations with them about the dangers of drugs, and that if they do them, and also to make them aware of gateway drugs, and that if they do them, they could very easily lead themselves down a path like this. Make them aware of the importance of the people that they surround themselves with in high school and in the university. Along with the issue of tents, all throughout Portland, under practically every bridge, there is lines of RVs and people living out of vehicles as well. And they look like they have been there permanently. I'm sure that some of these tires are flat. A lot of these RVs look pretty old. And so it's likely that they have not moved from there in a year, a long time, maybe even longer than that. And on top of them living there, it's unfortunate that these streets are filled with trash. And a lot of times it seems like the people who live there are attached to these belongings and they don't want to get rid of them. And so if the city comes and cleans them up, they feel like it is a massive injustice that they took away all their trash, that they cleaned up the street. To me, this meme made a lot of sense. You have the county handing out tents. Oh, such a nice, wonderful thing. And then you have the city removing tents, which I think should be the only thing that they do. Because if they keep making these circles, they're going nowhere. They're chasing their tail like a dog. They should clean up the tents and stop purchasing tents to hand out. In some ways, doesn't it also seem like there's this mentality that has kind of infiltrated the country that's like, oh, well, people have the freedom to live however they want. And if they want to be free from work and responsibilities, they can live on the street. They're not going to bother anybody else. But that is so far from the truth, because what they do all day long is bother everybody else. And that's the reason why fires pop up. We saw what happened in Los Angeles. That was detrimental. And there's fires that pop up throughout Seattle and in the streets of Portland as well, which is very dangerous.
What are you doing?
What? I was passing the time.
Yeah.
Boy, that puts out a lot of heat.
Yeah.
So he asked him, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, just passing the time. And I was shocked to see this for the first time. The first night that I arrived in Portland, there was just a random fire. I don't know if it was from their little bonfire or if it was just a trash can on fire, but isn't that illegal? I just think it's weird that so many cities just don't follow the law and so many police just don't do anything because they're like, oh, this fire is a First Amendment right. It is bizarre to me that their mayors and their city and their police don't take any action at all. In fact, the only action that they take is to leave them there. Just let them be. Let them fight ICE agents. Let them put themselves in danger. Let them put their fires. Let them live on the street. Let them build encampments. Let them harass the people who live around. Let them make their music. Let them run naked down the street. It's just really weird.
Is this your trash?
This is what Megan did last night.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Fuck you. Get out of here.
This was all covered. This was all covered. This is disgusting. What are you going to do with all of this trash?
I was 2 seconds away from being punched, but then Mike stepped in and saved me. If you're not following Mike too, by the way, gotta go give him a follow. Please make sure that you are subscribed. I will see you next time. Bye.